My family is trapped in the metaverse. I mean, when I first saw that headline, my brain instantly went to some sci fi type place. I almost believed that Amazon show called Upload had actually started to happen in real life, which is a show about a future where people can pay to upload their consciousness into a metaverse like place when they die, so that way family and friends can just visit them in the afterlife. However, after reading the article written back in January of 2022, I became much more disturbed by what Adrienne So was writing about. Not by her actions, but by the fact that we've arrived in this place in time and it's not as glamorous as we thought. 20 years ago, if you told me that there would be a metaverse, I would estimate its actual arrival to around 2050, not in the 20s. We are moving so fast into a technological world because we crave convenience. The scary part is that if a global cataclysm were to happen, another ice age if you will, or a giant meteor hitting the planet, there would be almost no trace of our generation's legacy. It all exists online. I mean, how long would it take for the next phase of humans to remember how to build the internet again? I mean, I have no beef with technology or the internet unless those things stop working. Then I get anxious and stressed out, which is the wrong reaction to have. That means I'm dependent on these devices like a drug. This story about this whole family being trapped in the metaverse is to me just more evidence that most of us are doomed. I say most because there are still a few people out there who enjoy being in the actual physical world. Now, without any further delay though, here is my reaction and rants to the article titled "My Family is Trapped in the Metaverse." So this is the article, "My Family is Trapped in the Metaverse." It was originally posted back in January of 2022, 7 a.m. And the subline is, "Virtual reality isn't great, but it's a lot better than dealing with everything else out there." Which is just like, I don't know, man. I feel like at a certain point, yeah, being scared, I guess, helps you avoid dangerous situations, but like deciding that you're going to almost full time just move you and your family into the metaverse because everything outside is scary, that says a lot about the way humans are headed. I don't know. So I'm going to read this article here, written by, I think I mentioned in the intro, Adrian So. All right. On a whim, I recently started rewatching Ready Player One, the Steven Spielberg adaptation of Ernest Cline's seminal novel about a future in which virtual reality is the real world. In the opening scene, protagonist Wade Watts clambers around a ramshackle trailer park before placing a headset on his face, and everyone has largely abandoned the decrepit, rundown reality for the oasis. A virtual world of limitless possibilities where everyone can do, be, or look like pretty much anything they want. If you'd asked me if we were close to Ready Player One a year ago, I would have snorted and listed any of the objections my more skeptical colleagues have noted. However, on a recent Saturday afternoon, my husband put on the Meta Quest 2 VR headset to play Puzzling Places, a 3D puzzling game, while our children played with their stuffed animals and I sorted laundry. After lunch, my 6-year-old daughter was allowed to spend half an hour in Google's Tilt Brush, a 3D drawing app where she created a frosty winter scene, complete with falling snow and snowmen named Lisa and Tom. My 4-year-old watched, enraptured as the headset cast to the screen. After dinner, I caught my husband putting the headset on again. Caught him. Sorry, we need to stop there. Caught him? You caught him putting it on again? Like, it's just the language around this kind of stuff. It's starting to feel like you caught him doing drugs. Oh, I caught him putting on the VR headset again. It's this like the problem that I have with like a lot of people when they're diving into this kind of stuff, and it's the same thing with like people who try to quit smoking or whatever. They say I'm trying to quit, but they're not quitting. It's the language revolving around the activity is the reason why they can't seem to break from it. And her saying like she caught him at the beginning of this means that there is some limit in her brain where she's like, this is too much. More than once a day in this VR world is too much. And so I caught him indulging, if you will, into the VR oasis once again. But let's go back to the article. After dinner, I caught my husband putting the headset on again. I told him to charge it when he was done because I was going to try a few new games with my coworker in an hour. So it wasn't even, maybe I shouldn't do that. I jumped the gun on that one. So it wasn't the fact that she was like, geez, playing it twice a day might be a little too much. No, 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 no. She wanted to make sure that the drug was ready for her when she decided to indulge in it. Don't run down that battery. What an inconsiderate husband. Being the parent of a still unvaccinated 4-year-old, you got to insert that whenever you can, in the middle of a rainy Oregon winter during a still ongoing global pandemic, it's not really still ongoing, has sucked. My kids go to school and daycare, but to mitigate their risk, we have canceled swimming and gymnastics classes and play dates. Virtual reality isn't perfect, but it has allowed us to extend our lockdown indefinitely until my son can be vaccinated. And also, I kind of like it. That's the problem here, folks. Right here. Extend our lockdown indefinitely. What? Why? Why do you what? Are we forgetting what it's like to be human? Like, honestly. And I kind of like it. That I don't I'm not down with this whatsoever. I mean, I love the idea of technology advancing. I love looking at like futurism articles and articles on Wired as well that talk about like advancements in technology. I think it's ultimately good, but it's not good when we start to arrive at this sort of mindset where like the lockdown of the pandemic that was done at the time to avoid the spread, which was necessary, is now becoming like a personality, I guess, like a mentality where people are like, I want to be locked down forever. That's that's a different breed of human, truly. All right, let's move on. The next section is called A New Hope. It didn't start out this way. I first got the MetaQuest 2 as a loaner in November to try co working with my colleagues and experiment with briefings. For work or relaxation, I found the headset utterly unsatisfying. If I want to meditate, I will take my dog on a walk. If I want to blow off steam, I'll go for a run. The killer app is reality. My husband the killer app is reality, my husband crowed as he saw the headset sit dusty and unused on my desk for about a month. That was until Christmas when both sides of the family visited and we reinstituted strict social distancing to protect older family members in the middle of the Omicron surge. Trapped in my house with no escape from all my loved ones, I downloaded Puzzling Places one night. Meditative music plays as you manipulate small pieces of landmarks, clothes, and places in a 3D space around you. The satisfying click and glow as I put each small piece into its place was addictive. That's what they're made for. I downloaded a few more games and a few more. Getting used to the headset didn't come easy. The headset is much lighter and easier to use than older iterations, but it's still heavy and awkward. Getting plopped down into empty space with no legs is still disorienting. I bought myself a big bag of these same ginger gummy chews I used to combat nausea during pregnancy. So now it's like we're like astronauts preparing for a flight out of space. You have to eat special food to calm your stomach down because it's so disorienting. I mean, she used the word right there. It's so disorienting to us as humans because yeah, that is unnatural. Like the reason why I know I'm in this room and I can kind of move around in this room is because my eyes are seeing things and it's sending a message to my brain telling me this is a desk in front of me, this is a microphone in front of me. I've had that experience too where I've put on a VR headset. I don't want to say I played VR because I just did one of those things where you're kind of sitting in like a ski lodge basically, and there's like a nice TV on the wall and whatnot. But it was like it was weird because if you spend enough time in that and then you take the headset off, you kind of have this weird like vertigo feeling where you're just like your brain actually thought that it was in that place for a moment in time. It's hard to explain unless you've tried on VR headsets, but I get what she's saying about like you need to calm. It could be nauseous for some people, essentially, right? But again, that's still weird to me that you you feel nauseous from something and you're like, I gotta keep doing it. Like even nausea on roller coasters. When people are scared of roller coasters, it usually goes away. You know, it's not like something that persists. And if it did, you wouldn't be riding roller coasters. Nobody rides a roller coaster and they're like, I like how sick it makes me feel. Mm-mm. Still, I persisted. In all honesty, I would not have if I were able to do literally anything else. You could. A coworker suggested playing Beat Saber and Fit XR. I organized a game of Blastin'. My skeptical husband found that he also loved puzzling places, and my 6-year-old demanded, her 6-year-old is making demands now. Oh, man. Demanded a short turn. My 4-year-old still doesn't want to try it, but it's only a matter of time. Oh, no. Now we've moved on to a section called Nowhere to Go. The idea of sticking your children in virtual reality probably isn't going to get me endorsed on many parenting blogs. I too would like my children to enjoy unfettered freedom, large indoor birthday parties, and reading hours at the library, and the company of their friends and family. We do the best we can. We go for walks by the river and go roller skating at the park. We go to bed on time. I cook dinner. We go on our daily stupid little walks. Those stupid little walks that just this article is just driving me crazy. Those stupid little walks, those stupid little things that you need for exercise to keep the blood pumping in your body and keep your brain active and thinking. Those stupid little, then we take stupid little sips of water, stay hydrated. Outdoor gatherings are truncated because I live in Oregon, where sitting outside is often rainy, damp, chilly, and unpleasant. You want to talk about unpleasant? Live in the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa. Unpleasant. Even if you have a fire pit and heat lamps, vaccinations and boosters are literal lifesavers, but my child still can't have them. I'm not even mad at being left behind as the vaccinated world moves on. 2 years is a long time to go without restaurants, live concerts, and travel. Yes, I dare say it's made you a tad bit loopy. I just can't justify the risk. My kids need school and I need them to go. The first time I downloaded Tilt Brush was the first time I was able to give my 6-year-old a truly new experience in a really long time. Her little mouth dropped open as she turned around and around. I like it too much, I'm not getting out, she declared. I cast the headset to the TV and could see her waving her hands in the dark, making flowers and hearts come to glowing life with her hands. It was amazing. At this point, however, the bar is low. She hasn't been on a plane to see her cousin since 2019. After she was vaccinated, I took her to a restaurant and then to Target. The experiences filled her with awe. Years ago, we took them completely for granted. And that's really the problem, too, is like when you think, there's so many issues. I love when I say that. That's really the problem here. There's lots of problems, but the other problem that I have here too is like when you think about just what she said there, it's like she's not really experiencing any new things because in her little life, most of it has been in lockdown. So that's really all she knows, which is incredibly sad for a lot of kids out there. But I always think about that with the internet too. There's kids being born now who just literally they don't remember what life was like without the internet in general. And again, like I keep saying, that's going to create in the future a different type of human. Like they're going to value different things. Their different experiences in the virtual world will maybe hit them a little bit harder when they start having those like nostalgic feels like we see a lot right now. But let's move on to the next part here, or the last paragraph. Meanwhile, my son is still unvaccinated. The endless months stretch on and on. I don't know how long it will be until the Quest 2 bores us, just as the piano now bores us, or the bread baking, or the roller skates, or any of the endless other ways we thought we would be able to make it through what we imagined would be at most a temporary disruption. The sun goes down and the oasis beckons. I just hope by the time we can get out of here, we'll still want to. And that right there is the scary part, right? So I hope by the time that this ends, we'll still want to leave that part because even though she said, I don't know how long until the Quest 2 bores us, just as the piano now bores us. The different thing is like developers can just update the Quest to make it not boring. The VR world and technology, it doesn't have to remain stagnant. Like if a product isn't, that's what it's seen as, right? As a product of entertainment. If it's not working, they'll just adjust it and change it to hit more of those triggers in your brain so that you want to keep playing this thing. The piano is not going to do that. Roller skates aren't going to do that. Making bread isn't going to do that. You have to use your brain and find new ways to make those things exciting if you've, sort of lost passion or you move on to something else. The piano is not going to really get a major update that suddenly makes it more exciting. You have to have that drive within you to pursue this. And I don't know, man, it's just leading down a bad path, in my opinion. And then on top of that, like you've got all these people addicted to the metaverse and virtual reality. But then I just saw this article from Yahoo Finance. The metaverse will be our slow death. Meta employees hit out at Mark Zuckerberg in blind reviews. Now, this article is all about Meta employees posting negative comments about Mark Zuckerberg on an anonymous forum called Blind. A software developer said Meta's CEO will single-handedly kill the company with the metaverse, meaning that he's basically pouring like all of Facebook, which is now Meta, into the metaverse, which doesn't really have that many people participating in the actual, connection community part of the metaverse, even though they're spending probably a shitload of money in that area. And this is also amid them doing tons of cuts to employees. I think like 11,000 employees lost their job, something insane like that. But needless to say, Ronnie thinks the metaverse is bad. that's that's where we've arrived on this little video concept. I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of that article. I'm going to continue exploring this channel and exploring what else I want to dive into topic wise, and if there's articles that just make me want to rant a little unfiltered, that's what this whole YouTube is for. It's what my YouTube channel is for as well. I just want people to be able to come here and get my opinions on things if you care about that. This is all. I should cut all of this out. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button as well. And until next time, stay classy.